Hi guys, it's me, Grandma Lily, and it's time for Story Time with Grandma Lily. I hope that you guys had a great day today. It was Thursday, which means tomorrow's Friday. The weekend is coming. We're going to have a great weekend. I'm hoping to get out and have some fun. Today was a very, very busy day for Grandma Lily. I had a lot of work to do. And I also have my babies, Elijah and Jordan, with me. And, sometimes it's tough when you're trying to work and you're trying to play with kids, and it can get really, really crazy. But Uncle Joe took them for pizza, and he got them donuts. He got me a donut. And then when I was done working, we made Play-Doh, and we put it in the oven, and we made Play-Doh cupcakes and Play-Doh cookies, and we had so much fun with Play-Doh. We had a lot of fun, and we still have some Play-Doh left, and we're going to do some more. And tomorrow we're going to paint the Play-Doh that we baked today. So that was Elijah and Jordan. So they're sleeping, and I love you, Elijah and Jordan. Serenity and Kylie, I say I love you and I miss you both, and I hope that you guys are doing great. It was a good day today. We got to walk the dogs, and it wasn't too misty. It was kind of rainy, but it was okay. So we're going to read a different kind of book today. We're going to read a book about something that is very important to me. One of the things that's very important to me is music. And one of my favorite kinds of music is jazz music. And if you talk to your moms and dads and grandmas and grandpas, they can show you some jazz music. They can find it for you on Spotify or Pandora or YouTube. Some really cool jazz music. It's one of my favorite kinds of music. And I have a lot of famous jazz musicians that I really like. I have musicians in my family. Music is very important to me. And a lot of us play instruments. I play the flute. My mother played the piano. My nephew plays the clarinet and the piano. My uncle played the piano. There's musicians all over my family. And and a lot of us liked and played jazz. So one of my favorite jazz musicians ever was a trumpet player named Miles Davis, and he was just a wonderful, wonderful trumpet player, and he had a band that did an album, and there was a drummer on that album, and his name was Jimmy Cobb. And this week, Jimmy Cobb passed away, and he was 91 years old. Can you imagine that? 91 years old. And he passed away, and so because he was part of Miles Davis's band, we're going to read a story today about a musician. And what we're going to read about is we're going to read about a trumpet. And it's called Ben's Trumpet. And it's by Rachel Isadoea. And it is also one of those, it's a Caldecott honor book, which means that it was noticed by Caldecott. Remember, we look at some of those Caldecott Award books. It's also a Reading Rainbow review book. And if any of you guys have ever heard of Reading Rainbow, it's such an awesome, Reading Rainbow is just great. And again, moms and dads, you could probably find that on YouTube if it's not still even on public television. So hello to my babies, Kylie and Serenity, and hello, Elijah and Jordan are sleeping because they were so busy today. And we are now going to read, get your stuffies, get your blankets, get everything ready, and we're going to read Ben's Trumpet by Rachel Isadoea. And what's interesting about this book is that all of the pictures are very different than the pictures that you might see in books. First of all, they're all black and white. There are no colors. So that'll be fun. And we'll look at some of the other way that the pictures are drawn as well. And this book was written, guys, in 1979. And in 1979, I was 19 years old. In the evening, Ben sits on the fire escape and listens to the music from the Zigzag Jazz Club. He joins in playing his trumpet. Sometimes he plays until very late and falls asleep in the hot night air. Wow, that's kind of cool to live right by a jazz club. Every day on the way home from school, Ben stops by the Zigzag Jazz Club. He watches the musicians practice. And that's what I was talking about. If you look here, you see the drawing of Ben right there. And then over here, these drawings are just kind of like outlines of the people. That's pretty cool. The pianist or pianist, however you want to call him, the saxophonist. He plays the saxophone, which is kind of like a clarinet or an oboe or a reed. And it's an interesting instrument. I wish I could play it. The trombonist, that's a big instrument. And the drummer. And that was what Jimmy Cobb was. There we go. And guys, if you hear some really weird noises coming from behind me, it is my dog snoring. Not kidding. Want to see? Look. There she is, snoring up a storm. Can I tell you? Anyway, but most of all, Ben thinks the trumpeter is the cat's meow. What that means, boys and girls, is that the coolest. Trumpets are so cool. Ben feels the rhythm of the music all the way home. Sometimes I do that when I hear music. I can feel it. He plays for his mama, his grandmother, and his baby brother. Looks like his baby brother's sitting there with no clothes on. And for his papa and his friends. One day, Ben is sitting on the stoop and playing his trumpet. "I like your horn," someone says. It is the trumpeter from the Zigzag Jazz Club. Ben smiles and watches him walk to the club. And there he is, and look at that. That's a pretty cool drawing right there. The next day, after school, Ben stops and listens to the musicians practicing a red-hot piece. He starts blasting away at his trumpet. Some kids in front of the candy store watch him. "Hey, what you doing?" they yell. Ben stops and turns around. "What you think you're doing?" they ask again. "I'm playing my trumpet," Ben answers. "Man, you're crazy. You got no trumpet." They laugh and laugh. Ben puts his hands in his pockets and walks slowly home. He sits on the stoop and watches the blinking lights of the Zigzag Jazz Club. He sits there a long time, just watching. Down the street, the band comes out for a break. The trumpeter comes over to Ben. "Where's your horn?" he asks. "I don't have one," Ben said. The trumpeter puts his hand on Ben's shoulder. "Come on over to the club," he says. "And we'll see what we can do." And look at that. Ben gets a trumpet. Isn't that nice? And let's see if there's somebody specific that this is dedicated to. It doesn't seem to be dedicated to anybody. But that is all about Ben and how he ended up getting his trumpet. So, guys, if you like music and you want to play an instrument, pick an instrument to play, because I think playing an instrument is so much fun and it is so exciting to be able to make music. But besides that, even if you don't want to make music or you don't want to play an instrument, listen to lots of different music, because jazz is really one of my favorite kinds of music in the world, and I hope someday it'll be yours too. Anyway, tomorrow I think we may be going back to visit Dr. Seuss again. We shall see. But in any event, you guys have a wonderful evening. Remember that Grandma Lily loves you. Bye-bye.